We'll get it to Ben soon.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's wonderful toy.
What's the big deal about the world's most powerful Kraton build? Well, it was built on the first radioactive racing chassis, and we built it with the first dual motor setup the world has ever seen. All right, guys, let's get into the comparisons. We have here a bone stock, just a couple modifications done to this 6S Kraton, and we have a track Kraton ready for the track. It has a certain amount of upgrades to it, and we have our King Kraton build looking spectacular. What makes this so special, and why in the world did we build it? First of all, this comes on the world's first radioactive racing unbreakable chassis. If you guys haven't seen the videos of what we've put this chassis through, you guys are missing out. You guys need to check it out. You guys decide if it's the real deal or not. I decided to go ahead and start building my chassis out of it because aluminum just wasn't cutting it for me. So, what's the weight of this and what's the power to weight that we gain out of it? All right, guys, let's get right into it. First of all, let's take a look under the hood. We have our track ready Kraton. We've got our King Kraton build, and we have our stock Kraton. Gosh, look at this, the sound of this body. You guys really need to look into Gorilla taping your bodies. All right, let's take a look. All right, so I've got some 3S batteries in here to simulate the weight of this stock Kraton compared to our build over here, because I think a lot of the questions that we were getting was about the weight and the power and where the advantages to adding all these components were. First off, this is my dream Kraton. This is my dream machine. I wanted to build one for so long, but I was afraid to build one on those flimsy aluminum chassis. I wanted something that would handle all this power, and there you have it. So that's why I built this. All right, so let's take a look at some of the differences. Obviously, we've got a lot more room. We've got the factory tower in there versus some much beefier equipment. Of course, the track ready Kraton has got some extra weight. We have the hot racing braces on here, as well as on this one as well. This has the EXB bracing. Personally, I don't ever run a car without them, so that is an absolute must. But beyond that, they have had I believe, no, that is the factory servo, factory electronics. We've got a fan system on this. Other than that, this is stock. And then we've got this machine right over here that has a little bit bigger tires, some Losi 20 millimeter hubs. This really is made for the track. A lot of grip, not a lot of weight, and versus our belted basher tires, these things are wicked, guys. 24 millimeter, these can handle the power without having the ballooning that we don't like out of our factory. So this one is pretty loose because we like a lot of traction, and this one doesn't get up to too high speeds. All right, so let's take a look at the suspension. Where the sleeves are pretty close. All right, let's see how they recover. Looks like they come about a little bit more than halfway up. These shocks have been serviced. So there we have it. All right, this is our King Kraton build. And we have got two 6S batteries stacked there, guys. All right, let's take a look at the whole suspension. So we can see a big difference there. This has pretty much got the same stock suspension. It's doing pretty much the same thing as the first. So, all right, guys, now that we've seen a little bit about these builds, let's take a look at some numbers, shall we? All right, so all these numbers are as accurate to the best of my ability. I am not a mathematician by any means, and I got all these calculations by plugging numbers into the internet, as you can do the same. All right, so our factory BLX and factory BLX single motor is making approximately 4.5 horsepower. Now, the ready to run is approximately 11 pounds, 5 ounces. And that is with the batteries. So we have a power to weight ratio of 0.39 horsepower per pound. All right, so that's where we're sitting with the factory. Over here to our track Kraton, we have the same motor in this making 4.5 horsepower, but it weighs 13 pounds, 2 ounces, and that makes the power to weight 0.34 horsepower per pound. So we're losing a little bit of power to weight because we've added some extra protections and probably some bigger wheels and hubs on there, some T-bone bumpers and wheelie bars. So it all adds up, but that's bringing our power to weight down. So here is our dual motor. Let's take a quick look for those who haven't seen any of the other videos. This is a complete dual motor BLX twin 6S system, completely hand built with custom battery tray and center tower. All right, with all this weight, it weighs in at 18 pounds, 5 ounces. These two motors make a combination of 9 horsepower at the drivetrain, making this power to weight 0.48. That is nearly half a horsepower per pound, making this by a significant margin the best power to weight ratio of these three RCs. All right, guys, how and why did I build this monster? First of all, if you're asking yourself why I built it, this probably isn't the channel for you. We build RC monsters on this channel. We don't mess around. So, all right, now it might be becoming a little bit more clear as to why I built this. Some of you guys might say, well, I like a cleaner, more lightweight look. I've got a lot of RCs, guys. I have enough to where I can have one of each type of RC that I want and build it out like I want. So that's the reason why this one is built for pure, unadulterated power. So let's get into everything that it took to make this. So let's start at the outside. We've got the Roven belted basher tires, very, very tight. These tires are incredibly tight and bead locked, and just the best tires that I have found out there, especially for a 1/8 scale. The only trick of it is you got to change your hubs out to the 24 millimeter. I have built my own 24 millimeter hubs on some of my RCs. However, these particular hubs are Just Bash It. Yes, Just Bash It. I love their company and I love their products. They have some great products out there, and I have been using them for years. But I do think that there is room at the table for a new composite chassis. I think that will bring them some serious competition. All right, guys, look at these GPM springs. Now, why is it that these are so expensive? I actually don't like the shock body setup that comes on this. I don't like the metal that they use. However, these Gold Series springs are just priceless. And if you look real close, those bottoms, those are metal bottoms. Those are not the plastic that it comes with on the factory shock body. So all that pressure is coming down on a metal bottom piece right there. All right, we got our last shipment of T-Bone products in, so we bolted up our shock protectors back there and our basher bumper. This one's looking a little bit slimmer and trimmer than some of our other ones, but we were trying not to add too much weight to an already heavy platform. So, all right, you can see we've still got the EXB shock towers on there. We have the V4 differentials in here. Why? Why, you ask yourself? The BLX differentials have been plagued with problems. If you guys have owned EXBs, and I own pretty much all of them, I think I do own all of them. Every one of them has given me some problems. This particular one, the V4s are more modifiable. The very definition of limited slip differential means it's going to govern, it's going to nanny what's going on in that differential. And that's great for people who don't like to modify and don't like to get into their differentials and make them their own. I prefer the V4s. I will take all the responsibility in modifying these, and I much have a better result when I use them. So all of my Arrma 6S's have all been changed out to the V4 differentials. So, all right, making our way around. All right, this, guys, this is the problem. This is why it's never been done before. You have got two giant batteries that have got to be shoved in this chassis somewhere. You can't have them hanging off the side like saddlebags. They have to be on the chassis to be a true basher. Now, if you're making a street car, absolutely, build them on the off the chassis. There's no problem with that. It's been done many times before and perfected by many people better in the hobby than I am. However, this type of build has never been attempted before. The motor mount company that I bought the double mount from, PPS, even has a disclaimer. We'll put a picture of the disclaimer right up here. It basically says that, yes, the motors will fit. Yes, it'll bolt to the chassis, but basically everything else is up to you, and you're going to have to do a lot of rearranging. So, all right, guys, this is actually a 7-inch battery tray. You have about a 1/2 inch to spare right here. So when I say that I have room to grow on this platform, I really mean it. There are two sets of, there's actually a one complete brick 8S battery that will fit into this with two of them with much room to spare. They have just come out with it. Actually, I just got an email about it. Got about a 1/2 inch, maybe just a little bit less than a 1/2 inch right there. So, but these are big batteries, and these are also completely cased, so you've got a little bit extra material there. All right, so this is actually a battery tray, as you can see right there. It is bolted onto the chassis so it can be removed while you're working on it. if you want, look at that. We got just a little bit of clearance in there, so you can still change your pinion out. We have a set of 18 tooth pinions on here. I wanted to get going pretty good, but I didn't want to get too crazy. So I wanted to start off with the factory Arrma BLX motors, because why not? We're building a super Arrma here. Might as well start off with the Arrma system. We can always build up from there. That's what I mean. I can put two 8S motors on this motor mount. Obviously, we've got plenty of room, plenty of clearance. And I can put, as long as it fits under 7 inches, I can put two 8S batteries into this battery compartment. And this, it is kind of difficult to see down there, but these are captured bolts, so they have nuts on them, so they won't be going anywhere. We've got our center tower brace, which you can pick up the whole car from. It is really quite a piece in there. And it is just a little bit higher than everything. That way it protects, but it still is in that body. If you guys have ever wondered how in the world this is made, there's a lot of measuring that goes on here, guys. I have measured so many times on this. There is very little room, but there is definitely room, guys. If we put the body on, which it goes on little effort. I'm not having to press on it everywhere. It just, we've got a little Gorilla Tape on the inside of this, so it is a little bit sticky as it goes on there. It has a little resistance, but look at that. Now, if you're wondering how much room is in there, just a little bit, enough to protect those ESCs and those batteries. Look at that. How many of you guys have ever wanted to put a 1/5 scale steering servo into your Kraton? 1/8 scale. Wow, guys, the steering on this is outrageous. I can't believe it. With all this extra weight on here, it still steers better than any other 1/8 scale RC I have. Look at that. Looks like we got a little bit of damage in there from our bashing the other day. Yes, this thing has already been on its lid. We've already had our first casualty on the track. Get a good look in there. Look at that motor mount. Beautiful work. This is the best motor mount I have ever worked with. We have got our 3rd channel right there in case I ever want to hook up a servo or something like that. Maybe we put a sign that, or something that comes down that says "see ya," or who knows what we'll do. We might make this an active wing. We just don't know, but that's always good to have a 3rd channel on there. Look at that. How sexy is that, guys? That is one clean build. Look at that. I never imagined it would come together so easy, guys. And it came together on the first Radioactive Racing composite chassis. Look at that. Unbelievable, guys. I built this chassis by hand with saws, files, and sandpaper. I can't believe how this has come together. When I say that the clearances are close, they are close, guys. This thing, you have got to measure 50 times before you're able to build something. I'm just telling you, there is no room for error in here. Everything, even the height of this was exactly precise to make sure that we cleared the side of the body, and we wanted to make sure that we had enough clearance. If I wanted to upgrade to a bigger servo, we had a little bit of clearance in there. Everything is clear. There is no rubbing. That's why this is such a clean build, guys. And again, when I say that I have room to grow, I mean it. We've got the extra room for the big boy 8S ESCs. We've got the extra room for the motors, and as long as it is under 7 inches of clearance on this battery, it'll fit. Now, there's a lot to be argued whether the car can handle it or not, but that's a completely different argument, and nobody ever builds a hot rod with that in mind. When you're building a monster, something just so aggressive, something like the Dodge Viper, the Dodge Demon, that is not coming across the engineers' minds. We are building monsters. Of course, we want them to hold up, but we're not going to let that hold us back from doing something great. So, guys, if you're out there and you're wanting to build something great and you're wanting to build your dream RC or build your own chassis or your own anything, don't let anyone discourage you. That is your build and your dream, and just keep on trucking and keep on building. And that's what this channel's about. We're about innovation. We're about making progress in the hobby. We're about building relationships. We want everyone to be welcome here. If this is your first time here, welcome to the Radioactive RC Ranch. We build RC monsters here. We do crawling, we do racing, we do bashing, everything RC. So this is your one-stop shop. So welcome to the channel, guys. We love having you. All right, guys, that is the King Kraton build. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Radioactive RC Ranch. We have worked very hard to put this build together and bring this all to you. So if you guys got something out of this build, or it entertained you, or even made you smile, like and subscribe. We could sure use your support. All right, guys, until the next time, we will see you Radioheads later.